Munchkins and viewers alike, it's me Munchie and welcome back to a much needed update video of all the foster hammies. So if you guys have noticed the setting, I do have my rack system with the bin cages and different type of cages behind me. For those of you wondering how I kept the hamsters, now you know. So I have a wall filled with the hamsters here. It stretches from one side and goes to the other, and all of the rack systems I acquired via friends. So these ones right here, if you're ever wondering where to get them, since I get asked this quite often, you can get them from Lowe's, Home Depot, and places such as Amazon. So just throwing that out there. But that's not the point of the video today, because it's all about the foster hammies and where they are now and what's going on with them. I'll be taking you guys way back, all the way back to Miss Frizzle's intake and what she's doing right now. So if you guys were waiting for this video, thank you so much for being patient with me. I actually am having a lot going on right now in my life. It's job changes, as well as I'm having my family issues. My dad's not well. My mom is currently moving. I'm helping her. And it's just been a big issue to deal with besides a death of a beloved pet. So thank you guys for being patient. So let's move on. And of course, because there's a lot of information that I have yet to tell you guys about these hammies, I actually have to take notes to make sure I remember exactly everything, since there is a lot of foster hammies that have come and gone, and there's some really cool information about some of these guys that I don't want to forget. So the first hamster we're going to be talking about is Miss Frizzle. Now Miss Frizzle, if you remember, she came from a family that unfortunately was very overwhelmed and rehomed her to me. Miss Frizzle came to us further down south, but now she lives further up north from us. She is with a wonderful lady that was a hedgehog woman, but she saw Miss Frizzle's ad and she had to have her. And because she is a hedgehog owner, she had the right type of setup, the big enough enclosure, and a big enough wheel. So Miss Frizzle right now is getting very spoiled with a bunch of love and attention and head rubs. So here's what Miss Frizzle's owner has to say, and yes, Miss Frizzle, her name is still being kept just because she loved it. So she says here, the new owner says, "She just kills me. Completely adorableness. She falls asleep during nightly head rubs. She's just the sweetest girl." Now, I didn't actually know that hamsters would be in some sort of trance if you scratch their head or give them head rubs, but for some reason, Miss Frizzle, and she provided a picture too, which is so bizarre to see Miss Frizzle falling asleep on her, giving her those nightly head rubs, and it's just the cutest sight I have ever seen. So I'm glad I placed Miss Frizzle in a loving home, because that's always a scary part about rehoming these guys, is not knowing what situation they're going into. But because I have requirements and people have to meet certain requirements, I only give the hamsters to people who will absolutely take care of them and will not neglect them and or cause some harm. So I'm glad that Miss Frizzle found a loving family. And if anybody remembers Miss Frizzle, she was super hyper, just in your face, fun character. If you put food in between her bars, she will just grab it, stuff it all in her pouch, and then run away. So we do miss Miss Frizzle. She does have a footprint here at Munchie's place that will be forever remembered. And we are going in chronological order, where I am going to be talking about the next hamster that we took in, after that. So the next one is Molly, and unfortunately Molly is still with us. We received her on May 29th after her family was moving suddenly and had to rehome her ASAP within the next 2 to 4 days, I believe it was. And unfortunately, I've had so many inquiries for Molly that were either going to be great or were pretty bad, and I had to decline people, but said, hey, if you want to upgrade for her, you can do that and then resubmit. And I suggested some cages and things like that, and unfortunately there has been the most people flaking out for Molly. It is insane. So poor Molly is still here, but we did learn something new about her that she just recently started doing. It does take an animal quite a lot of time to readjust and to actually come out of their comfort zone. Every time we open up her cage, she starts chatting with us, and it is the cutest thing ever. But unfortunately, Molly does have that weird curled toenail that's very thick, and her claws keep constantly growing, and we do have to trim them. But the fortunate part is she doesn't squirm as much anymore, but sometimes she does panic when trying to be helped held, but she does receive pats and she is a good spoiled little girl. So hopefully somebody sees Molly and says, yes, I would love you, because she's adorable. I'm so sad. We had a video for her and everything, and we thought it was working out. We had somebody even inquire about possibly taking the cage that she was in, just because it has been such a long time since Molly's been listed for adoption, and that one fell through. So it's just like nobody ever responded after that, and or they were just not a good fit, because I am not going to be putting Molly in anything smaller than what she's currently in, which the minimum in the United States, which is still a big debate right now, is 450 square inches. So anything that's at least 450 square inches or more is more appropriate. Anything smaller and it gets very iffy, and we don't approve those. So if anybody's wondering about the adoption requirements and the process, we make sure we put the hamsters in good homes. And the next one is a very sad subject to talk to you guys about, but Zelda here, she was first a foster hamster before she became my personal hamster after her spay surgery. She had what was known as pyometra. A lot of people know this disease as found in female dogs and cats. Their uterus becomes inflamed and starts growing rapidly, and if not spayed and removed, it could 100% be fatal. So I spayed Zelda back in August of 23rd, and her progress was going perfectly well. She was off of her antibiotics, she was acting normal, everything was fine, and then I noticed that her head started to swell, and I just did not know what was going on. And unfortunately, she developed this weird, it wasn't a mass, she developed this weird lump underneath her chin, like she had a double chin. And it was not filled with any liquid, because I went to the vets and he took a look at her. It was not filled with liquid, and it was not hard at all, like a mass. So he didn't know what it was. He thought it could have been possibly a tooth abscess, but he was more concerned with her bottom, because he started to notice just a little bit of discharge, and the discharge didn't seem normal to him, but he was very concerned with her bottom, put her on antibiotics, and then within 24 hours after that vet visit, Zelda did unfortunately pass away, and I was a complete wreck. It has taken me a long time to kind of make a video about it and to come out and tell you guys about it, but Zelda was the perfect little girl. But Zelda did have the care she so desperately needed, just because not everybody knows the sign or symptoms, and she could have died from having the buildup in her uterus of that pus-filled sac that was removed from her surgery. So at least I helped her, because not a lot of people are going to spend about $300 for surgery on a hamster. But I'm glad I had her in my life, and let's move on to the next foster, because I'm sorry, it kind of gets me choked up trying to talk about her, and she's not here right now, and I had to bury her, so yeah, let's move on. So do you guys remember the 6 hamster rescue? Yes, the 6 hamsters of adult hamsters, mind you. 1 was the father and 5 were the children. We found out later that one of the children and the mother recently got rehomed before I was able to acquire these hamsters, and I did happen to rescue them and give the guy money to take them. This wasn't any sort of surrender, but I did name them, and if you guys remember their names were Pappy, the old man that had the kids. We had Tully, we had Babe, and we had Jupiter. And so I have some good news about all those hammies. They have finally been all rehomed. So I'm very happy to say that the 6 hamster neglect litter is no longer here. So let's talk more about the hammies that were in my care, because if you guys remember, 2 of the hamsters on that day of rescuing did go to different homes. So all the hamsters were rescued on August 10th, and the last one actually went to their forever home and got adopted on October 4th. So it's really cool that it only took maybe a couple months to get all of them to their right homes, but we did happen to keep Tully for longer because she was a shy hamster. But we did find Babe a home first, and he actually went on September 8th to a wonderful lady down south that absolutely loved hamsters and was a fan of this channel. So hi there! That's pretty cool, because she was looking at the preview cage and she happened upon my video, if I can remember correctly. And so hello there, I hope Babe is doing well. She has given me some updates on Babe, and she just thinks that he's the cutest thing ever. So he's living a good life in a 40-gallon breeder right now, enjoying the room and the space to run around, because Babe was actually the biggest hamster of that litter at 176, I believe. It was either 76 or 78 grams. So he was a big fella. And Pappy was the second one to be adopted. He was adopted September 17th, and he went to a loving mother and father who previously rescued hamsters in California. And so they gave me a story. I think it was the hamster that they named was Big Data. Now Big Data, that sounds like a really cute name, and I really like that name, but Big Data was apparently found roaming the streets of California. And so when I think they said a rescue found him, they adopted him right then and there. And so that's really cool to hear that these people that I adopt out these hamsters to have either owned hamsters before, or they like the fact that there is such a place, say as Munchie's place here, that actually goes and rescues them, takes in surrenders, and gets them rehomed. So they were very grateful, and all these guys that I talked to are very grateful that I'm doing this. So thank you guys. If you're ever watching, thank you for the support, and thank you for encouraging me to continue with what I am doing and spreading awareness too. So I had fun rehoming Pappy. They did buy a very big bin cage for Pappy, and I believe they had like a hamster sign. It was like hamster beware or beware of hamster. Oh yeah, it was beware of hamster, I think. And it was just the cutest thing ever. So I was very happy to have him rehomed. Because if you guys remembered, he was the one that got picked on and had that big chunk out of his right side taken out by his sons. So that healed up very quickly. So he was off on his way to his forever home. And the next one that got adopted after that was Jupiter, which her name is now Tater Tot. Jupiter was actually adopted on the 25th of September by my friend, my good friend that owns hamsters. She really loved my rescue, and hi, you're probably watching this as well. But she adopted Jupiter and renamed her to Tater Tot, which actually is a good name. I do like that name. So Tater Tot is getting a lot of love and attention, and she was the most squirmish out of the entire hamster litter to be held. So I'm glad that she's with a person who understands and knows about squirmy hamsters, because ever since then she has been thriving in her environment because she is taken out, because she's handled nightly, and because she is cared for deeply by her. So congratulations to Jupiter out there, aka Tater Tot now. I am glad you went to a wonderful hamster mommy. And of course, Tully just this week got adopted, so I'm very happy. We did have to have her for a little bit longer. She was showing some signs of fear when being in her cage. I noticed that when listing her that she's fine being taken out, but inside her cage she got really spooked, she didn't like it, and she actually got adopted by a wonderful hamster mama who just wanted the hamster for herself. Her husband and son weren't really going to be interacting with the hamster, and they are involved, but it was just her personal pet. So that's really cool to see a mother just want a hamster for herself. So Tully got adopted October 4th, and she actually went from a bin cage like you see behind me here to a bar cage, and this bar cage was big enough for her. It was the multi-rat one, which normally I don't like it when hamsters have layers that high up. However, she did say she was going to customize it further for Tully, but at least she had the right size floor space. And also the surprising thing happened that I thought I would never see. Tully actually came out and became curious, and she was running around, and she got on her rodent wheel, senior rodent wheel, and was loving it. And she was acting so curious. She kind of wanted to go up, but was not quite sure about the very top. However, the lady said that she was going to keep me up to date for Tully, so we'll get some updated photos and or news about Tully and how she's doing. And because the doctor said that she has a vacation cabin, that Tully is going to go with her. She's not going to leave her in anybody's care. She's going to take Tully with her, and she is going to go in a different setup. Now that setup was already approved, and she is aware that she wants to upgrade it, and I did give her the suggestion of the Preview 528 because it does have handles and it's so much easier to carry than any other type of setup, except for a bin cage. Bin cages can be quite easy to carry, but it's nice having handles when you can lift it up. But she said that she's very interested in that cage, and she might actually consider buying it, so that's really cool. But I wish Tully luck because she was the shy one. I wasn't going to think that she was ever going to get adopted because hamsters being shy, not many people like that, but she got adopted by a wonderful person, so congratulations, Tully. And now we're moving on to Ginger's rescue. Now Ginger, she had 6 kids. She had Goobers, Chuckles, Runty, Tootsie, Snickers, and Crackle. She had 6 kids. Now Ginger is still with us. Unfortunately, we did rescue them September 6th. And so Ginger has had a few inquiries, but all of them seem to have fallen through. But her kids have actually been adopted. The first was a pre-adoption application from my friend that had hamsters growing up and wanted another one in her life. So Goobers was the first hamster named out of the litter, except for Runty, because Runty I kept calling Runty because she was the runt of the litter, as well as she was a female, so Runty just made more sense. Hey Runty! Hi Runty, how you doing Runty? It's just really cute. But since my friend named the hamster Goobers, I just decided to go with candy themed names. So there is Runts, and so Runty, Runts, you know, it kind of worked out. So I named the other ones based off of candies, and so the next one after that was Crackle. And the exciting news is Crackle just today got adopted out. He actually was adopted yesterday. We finalized the process, and then today we met. But Crackle actually got adopted by a wonderful family, mother and 3-year-old son that actually have hamster experience before and love spoiling their hamsters. And upon meeting her and her child, it was just such a wonderful interaction. She watches, I believe she said she watches my YouTube. I definitely know she follows me on Instagram, but she had a bank cage for Crackle. Congratulations to Crackle. I hope to see some updates from you in the near future. Now there's 2 hamsters I forgot to say, one being Joy and one being Hershey. Now Joy, she was surrendered to us around the 2nd, I believe, the 2nd of September, and a little bit before Ginger's rescue, because Ginger's rescue was around the 6th. But anyways, we took in Joy, and she still is looking for her forever home, so she's still with us. And Hershey, which Hershey was a surrender, and she's been with us trying to lose some weight because she was an overweight hamster. Not many people understand the difference between a really big hamster, genetically big, and an overweight hamster. If you feed them the wrong type of stuff, if you give them way too many treats along with their meal, they're only gonna go for the treats. They're not gonna go for the other nutrition that they need. So unfortunately with Hershey, when we got her, I actually thought she had pyometra because her sides were bulging. And in the photos that I saw on Craigslist before I reached out to the lady inquiring about her and trying to help her out, trying to find a place for Hershey to go, because Hershey was not supposed to be an intake. No, I was asked to intake her just out of fear that she was not going to go to the right place in time. And I also noticed she had trouble walking. So immediately on that day I weighed her. She was 236 grams, and just about maybe 2.5 weeks after getting her the right size wheel, making sure she's running, eating the correct food, she went from 236 down to 215. So that is incredible. That's a lot. So she's no longer wobbling all over the place or having a hard time walking. She is actually walking normally now, so that's good. I have to re-weigh her in a couple weeks, but when I weigh her next, hopefully she has lost a little bit more weight and she will be up for adoption after that weigh-in, just to make sure she's on the right track and is able to be healthy enough to go to a new home. And just before I leave you guys, I do have 10 other hamsters. Yes, I'm not going to tell you about them at all because I'm going to be making a separate video, and supposedly I was not intaking anymore. However, this was an urgent plea to intake these hamsters, and because I've had experience with really big litters of hamsters, I took them in. So in the next video you'll see from me is the introduction of the recently intaken hamsters and their backstory, and just sharing with you all the footage of these hamsters because they were just so much fun to film. But I hope you guys appreciate that little teaser at the end there. I don't want to just share with you guys that, oh hey, I'm intaking, because I also want to let you guys know, please do not impulse buy hamsters, please do not impulse buy animals if you're not willing to take care of them, and or if you don't have the means to take care of them right now. For me, I do have the setup, I do have support, I do have the money to take care of these guys. So please note that what I'm doing, you might not be able to do, but there is ways of helping out your local hammies in need. There's also rehoming groups on Facebook or other type of social media sites that have these types of groups in your area, and there's also ads on Craigslist that are constantly being posted. So if you put those ads in the right places and the right people's faces, you will be helping helping out hamsters and small animals in need, especially in need of rehomes, because those urgent pleas of I have to rehome the hamster or small animal or gerbil right now, those ones are really upsetting because you don't know where they're gonna go. And or you can always educate people on where to surrender to. Some shelters will intake small animals like hamsters, some shelters just don't have the means to, but there's also Petco that intakes surrenders if they have the room available. And there's also different places, like I mentioned, like the Facebook rehoming groups that I am a part of, where you can put those hamsters in people's faces that are looking for rehomed and homeless animals, and hopefully you get to help out both person and animal at the same time. So that's just a little shout out there. I hope to see you in the next video, and if you like this video, hit like to show your support, and comment down below if you'd like to leave anything about the past or present foster hammies in my care, and subscribe if you're new here and would like to become a part of the Munchkin family. So thanks guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!